What you doing? I'm the AC, and this is Alcoholandanime! Woo! Okay, this episode of Alcoholandanime is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do, but something I have done before, kind of. No, yeah, I pretty much have done it before. Whatever. Anyways, I'm talking about the anime series Romantic Killer. Yeah, it's not just a film like I normally do, because those are easier, it makes more sense. There's a whole reason why I'm doing Romantic Killer, the 12 episode series, instead of just a 1 hour and a half to 2 hour long anime film. Uh, but, I'll get to that later because this is alcohol anime, like I say every time, which means I have to start with the alcohol first. And, well, I'm kind of proud, kind of not too proud of what drink I thought of this time. Uh, because it's nothing completely original, but I feel like it fits it. Just the name. So I was like, romantic killer. Okay, it's a romantic drink, but how do you kill a romantic drink? Which is the name of this episode. Oh wait, well if you clicked on it, you probably figured that out. It's something. This is me thinking of myself after doing that. So I decided romantic drink, how to kill it, and the best way to kill any drink is to get sick off of it. Which and the easiest way to get sick off of anything, especially me, because I drink it all the time, probably a lot more than people normally should, is like very, very high proof grain alcohol. I'm so high. Like, your Everclears, Golden Grain, that's what I normally use. The 95% alcohols, and oh, it can kill it for you if you drink too much. I'm a little more careful this time because it was about 4 hours of anime to sit through, which is many a drinks. Uh, so I don't want to get sick and then try to do a podcast. I'm surprised I sat through the whole thing anyways. Of course, getting new drinks. But my idea for this is take a romantic sounding drink. So I had, mainly because I had most of the stuff on me, the first two things popping on my mind: Sex on the Beach, of course, and then Tequila Sunrise, which is another one. It's Tequila Sunrise is easy because it always has what you need. It's just tequila, grenadine syrup, and orange juice, which is stuff I always have. Sometimes not orange juice. Normally though I do, but I always have tequila. So that one was easy. But the Sex on the Beach, which I never really I don't think I drank it before. I must have drank it at some point. I usually have all this stuff too. Sometimes not cranberry juice, but cranberry juice, uh, vodka, peach schnapps, orange juice again. I don't have peach schnapps. I think I've only ever had peach schnapps once. So the second part, aside from just adding a part Everclear or grain alcohol or whatever, also get ingredients wrong because hey, that works. Nothing says mood killed when something's missing. That we're feeling, something's not right. Yeah. Or you're just forgetful and stupid and you just forget something. And when it's supposed to be a nice romantic whatever, and you're like, well, you ruined it because you dumb or whatever, drunk. It works out. So yeah, my drinks, nothing, nothing that creative, but it fits. To me, it fits so well. I don't know. You can let me know what you think if it's actually a thing. There's not really, there's not really any like characters that stand out in this. Of course, I don't think it's even that well known of a show, but yeah. So there's not really anyone I can make a drink for. There is a character I call the Potato Wizard. I don't even think he's a potato. For some reason, whenever I watch it and was thinking about it, he seems like a potato to me. But also both these drinks have vodka in it, so it works out. And he's the one. The Potato Wizard is the one trying to create the romance. Uh, so yeah, but the killer would be the main character. I'm already trying to start to talk about the show. That's what I'm doing. But that's it. That's all I really need to say for the drinks. That's a lot of them. I'm surprised I didn't drink a whole lot because mainly I was just watching the show, and I didn't want to have to keep getting up to make drinks because that takes time. So that's why I normally drink things straight, which is why I'm bad at mixology and stuff. Whatever, I have a drink now. I'll do this. But it's also because it's a show. There's 12 episodes. There's stuff to get through. Not nothing. It's not like significantly interesting things to talk about happens in each episode. But so I'm probably going. I'm going to try blast through all the recap for each episode. It's just a main highlight because it's a pretty simple concept, but I can't. Knowing me, I can easily just drag it on a lot longer than I actually need to. And then this might turn into 2 hours. It might turn into 4 hours. I might end up taking 20 minutes to talk about each episode. Who knows? There's really not that much to each episode, so I'll try to still fit it in an hour-ish. So that's it for the drink. Just add some high proof grain alcohol. Maybe miss an ingredient or two or mix something up. I don't know. Obviously, don't make it look as romantic because both of these, have some like garnish and stuff on it. And yeah, and just do whatever drink you want. I'm sure there's other romantic drinks. These are the only ones that I thought of off the top of my head, and I didn't bother to look up anymore because I'm trying to look up less stuff and be more creative for myself. But whatever. Enough with the drinks. Except for him, I'm going to take another drink. And let's talk about the anime. Let's talk about. Well, I usually get to recap after. I usually talk about my experience with this. My experience is I sat nearly for 4 hours in my chair at my desk watching this on my laptop. But how I found it is, I wouldn't say interesting, but it's random. I was just looking because Viz, Shonen Jump have been releasing a lot, or the past 4 weeks, releasing new manga. And I was like, oh, I wonder what else has came out recently, if there was anything else. And just scrolling through like the newer stuff, and I came across romantickiller. And of all the ones that I picked this one. It only had 9 chapters, but it looked like it was done. I did little Googles, found some information. There's only 4 volumes. The manga only lasted from like July 3rd, 2019 to June 2nd, 2020. Yeah, I took notes. Only 4 volumes. There's only 9 chapters though on the app, so I don't think they got them all on Viz. Maybe because they're not translating English yet. They're still whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, Netflix actually has an anime of it, which is weird. 12 episodes. It came out October 27th, 2022, which is still pretty recent too. It's like, what a coincidence I'm finding all this now. And then I was like, hey, I got 2 days off. It's like, I didn't really have, I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't really have a specific film I was going to do. But I was like, I got plenty of time off. I normally don't get 2 days off like this in a row without having other plans. And I was like, let's do it. I can drink a whole lot, kind of. Don't have to worry about the next day, kind of. So let's do it. And I actually did it. I sat through the whole thing. I guess it was pretty good. I didn't really ever feel like I got bored. I paid good attention to it. Maybe it helped. I was taking notes and trying to pay attention to it. But yeah, it's not bad, but it's nothing special. It's interesting. It helps that I do like. I mean, I like movies. The quintessential quintuplets film was over 2 hours, and I like that. That seemed long, but I would be fine with movies being 3 hours long. You don't really see anime films like that anyway. But I mean, a series of anime is about 4 hours, so it's nothing crazy. This could have been turned into a movie easily. It felt like it was just dragged out for it. And I'm pretty sure this one season would probably could cover all 4 volumes. There's no way they could do I guess they could try to do a second season. I'll get to all that and stuff whenever I talk about the recap and whatever. But yeah, so I just happened to find it random. I happened to have the time. All of it worked out. I made the plans really quick, which is probably why I also don't have a whole lot of plans for the drink. I just pretty much used what I already had. Yeah, whatever. And that's that. Not an interesting experience, but I did it. I'm proud of myself. I did all this, threw it all together. Yeah, and then just waiting for more films. I have others in mind, but it's been a while. I did this with Attack on Titan, the first season of Attack on Titan. Uh, so might as well just do it with this random one, and it's decently recent. It's a month and a half. Wait, October. Yeah, about a month and a half. So a little over. So yeah, still pretty recent. I haven't seen anything else about it though. No one talking about it. So I don't know who actually is going to care to listen to this, but hey, at least this podcast will only be about a quarter of the length of the watching experience, which is normally like, oh, it took me about just as long to talk about this as it did to watch it. So that's the benefit of this. Actually, my original intention was to watch like short series, like the whatever or certain episodes or stuff like that, like actual anime series, and sit and watch and get really drunk and talk about that. So this kind of works. I also thought I'd be doing on some, but I keep doing these solo now because that's easier too. Uh, and it wasn't even intentionally or originally meant to be films. It meant to be series and to drink with those, and it's specifically series with alcohol in them. Uh, and then we would drink wherever they drank, but that takes a whole lot of planning and stuff. And one day I want to still do stuff like that, but it felt good to come back to this because I normally watch stuff as series anyways, and now I would want to talk about it. So might as well do it for this podcast as an episode and all that stuff. But that's the I'll actually get a little informative with this. Here's some stuff about what it's about, how I found out all that stuff. But I guess it's time to finally dive in and talk about this show because there's a lot to it. Okay, so the main idea of this show is there's the main protagonist, Anzu Hashira, who has no interest in romance. She really only cares about three things, which is video games, chocolate, and her cat Momohiki. Yeah, and just not into romantic stuff at all. And like the 12 episodes, I'm gonna say this before I forget. They have names. Like the first episode, why is there so much legalese and magic? And really, I'll just go through the first one. It's time for the children to go to sleep. My life becomes dancing. My childhood friend is easy mode. You're more troublesome in flesh and blood. I forgot to read all of them. A reincarnate in another world. Day, you sure have your quirks. Goosebumps. I am a goose now. I don't even remember if that made sense. Ginger ale's a free lingerie. Is a forced lingerie. I don't know what that word is. Uh, Other way around, dummy. Just tell me if you don't like it. Last story. Okay, the reason I bring these up is because, like, for the first few episodes, pretty much straight up say the name of the episode in it, and they actually found. Then, of course, the ones I obviously didn't know what were going on, they just don't. And I felt like that was something they were going to do. And I was like, oh. But, yeah, they weren't consistent with that. But first episode is pretty much just Anzu. She was wanting to play this like fantasy adventure esque game, I think, something like that. But it turns out it was a trick. The game ended up actually being a date and sim called Romantic Thriller. It was just disguised as this to trick Anzu, and then this potato wizard Riri, who I'm calling Potato Wizard, um, pops out, pretty much tells Anzu, "Hey, you're going to be, you need to find some romance. You sad, blah blah blah." Which, okay, very judgmental. Yeah, video games, chocolate, Momohiki, that's all good and whatever. I don't see problems with it. It's not that bad, and like she's strong, independent woman. I don't know, like, determined. I don't know. It sets a bad standard. It's like you, you woman, you get husband, you need man. And I was like, nah. I didn't even look up to see who wrote this. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about that anime, not the manga. And yeah, and so he takes this away and says this is to help with population growth. Okay, sure, whatever. And also salary. Okay. Actually, the only time it's really brought up, is the salary part. But he's just trying to get any distractions away. Her dad, who works in a post office, is transferred overseas for some reason, which even she is like, that makes no sense. And which means her mom and her cat has to go too, and have to leave their daughter for only 2 or 3 years, which typical anime thing. I don't know if it's that typical for real in Japan to just leave children on their own like this, but in anime it sure is. And she decides she's going to rebel against this and try to do everything she can to not do whatever, since it seems like she's being punished. And of course, because of this, she immediately runs into someone named Tsukasa Kazuki, breaks his phone, blah blah blah, and she tries avoiding him. Of course, they keep running in together. He's She eventually gets sucked in apart, and of course he's there. That's pretty much the first episode. Introduce who the character is, what she's going to do, run into Tsukasa, and it'll pretty much be Riri trying to force them to get together. Second episode, Tsukasa. I didn't know. The reason she was in a park in the first place is stupid, but I guess it matters. Is she's afraid of cockroaches, typical. But because cockroaches are unsightly, they change it to a piece of cake. Whatever. Anyway, because she won't go back home because of that, Tsukasa takes her home, or his home. Also living by himself, of course. Mainly get an extra umbrella, but there's it's so dope because she doesn't want to be romantic or doing and avoid him. There's this whole back and forth, a long back and forth of not wanting to accept the umbrella, blah blah blah, and and wherever she talks to him, and this only pops up once. She uses like a Momohiki Mirage or whatever illusion to like try to block out his face and try to like just zone out completely. It doesn't work. This is the only time in the show. This is which another thing about consistent, these little things keep getting brought up, and it seems like something the character would do in general, but it's done once and then never again. Whatever. Anyway, Tsukasa eventually volunteers to kill the bug. They go back to his place, but then it starts storming thanks to the potato wizard, and so Tsukasa has to stay there, of course. Which I don't even know why bother. Couldn't she have just stayed at his place? But it would work better for her if she just stayed at his place. A lot more stuff. But because they go back to her place, she does everything she can to seem as unattractive or unappealing to him as possible. Because women don't know how guys actually are, or most guys. All that stuff doesn't matter. Just getting close, having fun. She's like, oh, let's play games. Let's do this. We try to cook. And she can't cook. And like, they just spend time together and get to know each other, and then that's the downside. And she's like, everything she does, at least for me, I would say all guys, it's not all guys, but for me, everything she does is exactly what I would be like, oh, what would get me interested in her. So, and I guess it's kind of works for Tsukasa. No, I guess it really does. I was about to say, it seems it takes some time for him to warm up to her, but no, it doesn't really take any time at all. But yeah, that's pretty much the kind. The third episode is like, after that storm, Tsukasa's apartment's flooded, so he has to move in with her. Of course, why not? Whatever. Yeah, so he has to move in. It'll probably take about a month or whatever, which would, like, a month of rent, he says, would be like the cost of the phone. And yeah, that's it. He says he isn't interested in dating either. So, okay, she thinks it'll work out fine, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But because in the fourth episode, this is where the harem starts. Some guy just randomly shows up named Junta Hayumi, who is supposedly a child of friend. Just shows up randomly to her house thanks to Riri manipulating his memories. He shows up and she just goes along with it. Like, at first she's like, "Who are you?" But then, like, she's like, oh, okay. And just goes along with it, acting like pretty much he is who he says he is. And but everyone seems to know who Junta is except for Tsukasa, which is another weird part. He almost seems like he didn't exist, but then he does, and he's just now like, oh yeah, we're childhood friends. It's like, what? Okay, sure. It's just weird how easily she goes with it. And I mean, sure, he is a nice guy. He does like her, but there's like no question. There's no hesitation. It's just right away. Well, there's like a brief moment of hesitation, and she just goes right with it. It's I don't know. Mm, that's kind of weird. Next one. Uh, Riri turns to a wizard girl now. Um, and and eventually Junta's invited to live there too. Uh, and but now Anzu realizes she can steal Ruri's wand and puts it in poop because it has to be sanitized again, so she can't use it. And then, coincidentally, just at the worst timing, a panty thief, which I originally I thought it was gonna be Ruri trying to steal panties or something to beer. No, it's actual panty thief. But yeah, Juna eventually stops him, and now he has a reason to move in order to protect her, even though Sukasa already lives there and whatever. Also, Sukasa has a job. I didn't say that, but I don't know if it's even important, but that's why he's not there. Where did he work? I feel like it was a bar or something. I don't remember. Something like that. Some kind of restaurant. Drinking establishment. Whatever. Um, I say that because in the next episode, Anzu gets a convenience store job. This ends up being like a typical shopping the shopping date episode, and because she only has cat clothes for some reason, which I have no problem with. I think that'd be cute. Whatever. Um, like being all dressed up, fancy looking. I don't know, quote unquote fashionable. Yeah, that's all cool. Fine. I just like style. I like people dressing in stuff they like. Uh, which is more cute and fun, silly. I like that kind of vibe more. But yeah, she only has cat clothes, and it gets revealed that Tsukasa Kazuki may have some social anxiety issues or something, or at the time it wasn't completely clear to me, uh, but yeah, next uh, comes in rival interest number 3 for some reason, because 2 isn't enough. Gotta keep adding more people. She's late. Look at this scene's kind of funny because it like alludes to like, oh, the girl who's running late with toast in her mouth. And then eventually like runs into somebody. No, what it is she's hit by a car and then by some rich kid who comes out with toast in his mouth. That's whatever. His name is Hijiri Kogane. He's not as close to her. He's kind of just stuck up and whatever. He makes her go on date with her because he assumed she wanted to, and like she refuses, and makes him, which just makes him want her more. But he tries the bio attraction with all the stuff she likes, but eventually she's just like, no, this is stuff from your parents' money, not you. So she doesn't want that. Like, and she's like, pretty much just telling him, try again with your own money. So he gets a job at the same convenience store as her. Which, hey, respect, I guess. Yeah, he doesn't. He ends up not being too much of a douchey asshole or whatever, as you would expect, of course. But like, even just right off the back, like there's that incident, and then he is kind of like stuck up, but he's not like an asshole about it to her at least. Um, and this is the one I was talking with Rena and Todd. Goosebumps. I'm a goose now. I don't remember what the goose had to do with anything or being a goose, but she meets Tsukasa's sister and get a little bit of family insight and whatever. I think at this point it's been a month. Like, I think her sister mentioned something about that and taking care of him, but I don't remember the reason. For some reason, Tsukasa's going to stay there longer. I don't know why he doesn't just stay with her. It doesn't really say much about where she's even at or doing, or maybe I missed it. I don't know. But now Riri is going to go on a mock date with Anzu, but as a boy named Rio. And which she also eventually says, she says Rio, Riri and Rio are supposed to be her cousins, but then Rio is just super flirty. But at some point, Rio challenges Hijiri about who can date better. They never even they throw this out there, but they never even do anything with it. He's just like, I think you can date better. Yeah, and that's it. They don't really do anything. Maybe whatever. So yeah, he's just trying to make more rivals. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Tsukasa's sister, more introduction to Rio. I don't remember what the goose had to do with anything, or being a goose. Maybe it's I don't know, an idiom or something I just missed, or I don't remember. I don't know what the goose had to do anything. Okay, next episode we get a little bit about Junta past, and it turns out he was some little fat kid. And it turns out Anzu did have a childhood friend who was a little fat kid that he played games with. Turns out Junta really was like a childhood friend, and Junta had been keeping kind of tabs, not really keeping tabs on him, but was aware of Anzu and all this stuff. All Riri did was, get the ball moving a little faster, getting his memories, manipulating him a little bit to get him going. But apparently, Riri can't manipulate emotions, so everything Junta feels is what he feels. Riri can only do things in interest of romance. Because if she could manipulate emotions, she could just do it on Anzu, and there would be no trouble, and there'd be no show. But yeah, this one Anzu goes bowling with a bunch of childhood friends. There's still a weird thing, like middle school friends and all that stuff, even elementary friends, all this. I don't know. I still have friends I knew from high school, but I came from a small town. All the people I went to high school with, I also went to middle and elementary school with. There was hardly any separating going apart. If anything, it's just all the elementary schools come together to one high school. Anime, they always seem to separate, and they always remember, like, oh, we were in middle school area, we should hang out. It's like, man, no. If you weren't my friend in high school and I met you, I know you since middle school, then we're not talking for a reason. I don't know. I hardly even talk to high school friends. I don't talk to high school friends. I don't even talk to college friends that much. I don't talk to anyone that much anymore. Not really a recluse. It's just I don't have time. I'll think about it, but I do still somewhat have contact with high school friends, which also means middle school friends and somewhat elementary school friends. People I've known for most of my life, even since childhood. But yeah, they go bowling, old classmates. There's another boy that had a crush on her, and they make a bet, like whoever wins, the losers have to tell who they're crushed on. So this one doesn't want to admit who it was really Anzu. Of course, Anzu wins the whole thing for him because she's the master of video games. But they end up just playing a lot of games. The boys just kept losing, and then the boy you had a crush on, Ruya, eventually tries telling Anzu how he felt, and she just completely shuts down. She's like, nah, that's it. That's just nah. Yeah. But yeah, all of them are surprised Junta is, not this fat kid anymore. It's like this star baseball player, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, whatever. Next episode, a little bit about Anzu's friend who kind of popped up every now and then, who I didn't really pay any attention to until this episode. Yeah, and she just for some reason focuses on her friend Saki. She kind of finds out the truth. And it turns out if Anzu tells anyone, she gets like a bunch of stomach distress. But yeah, it gives Saki's backstory of being her friend. Apparently, Saki is a savage. Her family. It seemed like a family was a bunch of like Yakuza-esque stuff. Maybe not actually Yakuza, but kind of that thug kind of family style. Yeah. But yeah, apparently Saki just had a bunch of bad boy luck and stuff, and Anzu kept sticking up for her. And then they go to a summer festival, have some nice moments. I don't know. This one kind of felt out of place, but because later Saki, because not sake. Oh, if I made a drink for sake, it would have to be something sake based. You know, sake is just alcohol in Japanese, anyways. Whatever. Um, yeah. So they do all that. It was nice. They had to somehow cram in a summer festival episode in there some way, even though. Okay. And now we get into like I guess the climax, the real antagonistic character of the show. There's some crazy woman named Yukana Kishi who ended up being Tsukasa's stalker, and while uh oh, this is why the Summerfest was important. She eventually saw a photo of Tsukasa, uh, which she's been trying to track down, figured out where it was, and while Anzu was on a date with Hijiri, no explanation really why it is. I think it does allude back to Rio's little declaration of or challenge, or whatever. Anyways, um, he it Yukana finds her. It gets a little backstory of that. At some point, Tsukasa, when they're really little, it's so creepy. He helped pick up a bag for her, and then after that, she just kept waiting for him, and she just asked he would pass by. I guess on the way to school. This like a lot of stalker stories are just like just pervy guy doing whatever or what. And just like I'm not innocent, but like there's really no reason. They don't really do that much. But this one is like legitimately creepy, just waiting, and he's just like he's a child. Um, and he just waits over and over, and she literally just like stands there, and it's like good morning, and just like greets him, and that's it. And it's like that's so creepy. Eventually she goes even further, makes fake accounts. At one point she drugs him, but and make it work. The dad is being an asshole, and it blames all this on him. It's like, okay, well, I guess it's a turn on like uh, gender role blame, whatever. Because usually it's a woman who gets blamed, but yeah, he blames on him. It's like you're leaning on him, or whatever. It's like, okay, um, yeah, and then the woman being crazy makes up a story about pretty much saying what the dad said about him to her mom, and this whole time her uncle keeps getting her out of trouble, and he's just trying to get rid of her. And eventually he like has to flee, and it's just a whole bunch of family trouble starts to this. That's why his sister, I guess, also his sister's with him and believes, and it's just the dad's asshole, and because of that, he, they're just kind of separated. But yeah, this stalker tries to get rid of Anzu, and this Saki's brother's thugs end up helping, but she gets a little cut, and but luckily her brother shows up and is like, "What the fuck you doing?" Everyone's like there to protect her and whatever, and then Riri even considers like removing Tsukasa from her potentials just to protect Anzu's romance. But yeah, then at some point this crazy woman personally attacks Anzu herself. And this is last episode. Um, and we get more backstory. This is where it tries to cram in so much, and even I'm starting to like, well, all this happens because it's trying to show you how everything built up. Like the reason Tsukasa's phone broke is because he was starting to have a panic attack while looking at it, and when Anzu ran into him, it kind of gave him that relief, and that's why he eventually got a little interest in her. But then there was a part where, in the very beginning, which I forgot to mention, she accidentally ran into him, fell down, and it kind of gave him that flashback of this crazy woman who needed help, but Anzu took care of herself and was like, "No, I'm good," and that was like, oh, another breath of fresh air. Um, but yeah, after this attack, her parents finally come home and Kat. Um, then this is just all her friends doing whatever they can to take care of the matter. Hijiri uses a financial threat to keep the uncle from fixing this again. Riri erases the crazy woman memories. But since it's not directly in line to help Anzu's romance, and it was like more of a personal thing, it seemed like it. But this does, directly, affect this. I don't know. I guess because Tsukasa could still had interest in whatever for her, anyways, even if he didn't do this. But it was more for Anzu's safety more than for Anzu's romance and procreation to help the population. Blah blah blah. Yeah, help do that. So, but since Riri did this, that means Riri has to say bye to Anzu. Um, and then some new potato wizard named Kate shows up to be in charge. But Kate apparently just sucks at it. I guess being new on the jar or whatever. Everyone can see this one, so everyone finds out the complete truth of everything that's going on. So they come up with this other plan. I guess it's like to keep Riri out of trouble. She says, "Oh well, Rio, the boy version." Rio could be a potential mate, and it's like, so you need to go and make that happen, and it works because, of course. So yeah, Kate uses magic, gets all that set up. Riri's fine, but now Rio is a potential mate, and this is just showing Anzu finally kind of gives in to this. But now she has all her stuff back. She finally has her family back, her video games, her chocolate, her cat, and everything's fine. But yeah, and this another weird thing is it kind of just alludes to Kate may work with Yukana. So, or is getting assigned Yukana, which, could help Yukana be a better person. And then it ends with a to be continued question mark. So, whew. Wow, I try to get through that as much as I can. That's pretty much the main points. That's really even more than you probably would even need to know about any of this. But I try to fly through it, give the whatever. But yeah, I don't know if it could actually continue. I think it's one of those like series endings, like it's like okay, but not, like it's a good conclusion. It's like why even bother putting to be continued? Maybe it was only the first two volumes. Like I think that there's 2 volumes released in English, so that'd be 9 chapters. Considering the first one's usually longer, so that would be what 4 in the first volume, 5 in the second. And maybe this is just the first season. But I don't know, even 9 chapters, 12 episodes for 9 chapters isn't usually how that works out. Because usually an episode needs to use more than a chapter for material. So, I don't know about that. But it is an interesting thing. You could see continuing and going on with, like, another season. They're still working it out, potentially even more love rivals, whatever. And then you kind of coming in. But that'd be a stretch. They would really have to work and try to do more stuff than they would need to for this. I don't know. I really try to rush through that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, it was just kind of silly, outrageous. There was just a bunch of little things. Just to keep it comical. I like the idea of like this rebellious, not being wanting to do romance and all that stuff. But it was almost a gag show, but it wasn't really. But she would get this like serious but like kind of goofy face, like kind of mannish, whatever, and that was the thing. But a lot of it just didn't make sense, or it's just try to blow through it. Maybe they should have taken more time with it. Who knows? But because like she's just Junta. Maybe it's because it was like a subconscious thing, or why she just accepted Junta as a friend so quick. I mean, she is a friendly person. It's not, even though she doesn't really want romance and stuff like that. She's not like a bitch about it. She's like, yeah, okay. I'm just not looking for anything. Tsukasa also said that because of the whole stalker incident. But of course, he has feelings for her now. I guess Hijiri does too. He really doesn't play like a whole direct role, even though she goes on random dates with him. I don't remember her ever actually going on a date with Junta or anything like that, except for like the group classmates thing. I don't know, but yeah, it was kind of enjoyable. Like I was kind of like getting into, oh yeah, this is kind of nice. All this stuff happening. It just felt kind of rushed. Maybe because they try to cram three people in there. They don't really get a whole lot of time to really focus on the romance stuff, which is the whole point that she doesn't want the romance, but she kind of also it kind of just forgets that she's not wanting to be romantic. I felt like it could have lasted a little longer with her trying to keep uh, on purposefully like ruin any kind of romantic thing, but they really only did it for like the first two episodes, and then it kind of just turns more into like a typical rom com kind of anime. Um, you also have like Ruya having being a potential another one coming in at some point trying it shows him a little bit more throughout, but he doesn't really try making any more advances. His whole little backstory is like he was kind of dumb. He was like, oh, he had a crush on her, but because they went, I guess they're separate ways when they progressed in school. He needed a girlfriend to forget her, but then that wasn't enough, and he needed another. So he was like had two girlfriends at the same time cheating on each other. It's just putting all this, and then he just like seems like an asshole, but he seems like a nice guy. It's just he's doing all this, and that was just another reason she was like, nah, like why would I do that? You already have or had two girlfriends. He's like, no, I just needed to forget about you. It's like, okay. And then the whole thing with Saki, I wish they would talk more about it. Like she's there. She doesn't really make much of a presence earlier, but then she kind of becomes a little important. Her and her brother, at least, become a little more important later. And it does like her friendship and backstory plays up more like the integrity of Anzu's character. I don't know. It was all just kind of whatever. It's like it's. It doesn't feel like the series itself was planned out. Like it's hard to say now, easy to say now, whatever, because like it's the four volumes are out now, and it's like, oh well, if this wasn't in a short series or not, you could have planned it out better. But it just seems like, oh, it's like, oh, let's do this next, let's do this next. Like, well, that didn't make sense. Well, okay, we can do it now. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on with this one, and it's not bad. That's the thing. I don't know. I need to like actually check on Viz's website to see if all the 9 chapters I saw are free or not, because that way I can like actually, like try to read it, and if the rest become free, or I need to just get Viz subscription and see all that, and just read all of them anyways. But let's see. Let me try and look at it now. Yeah, romantic. Oh, second volume isn't out yet, but it's on pre or blah blah, blah pre-order. I don't know. I'm just saying whatever. Um, just trying to find stuff. Where did I even? I don't even know how I eventually found this. Yeah, this isn't an ad or anything, but hey, the Viz slash the Shonen Jump manga thing. Only the price is going up to $2.99, but $2.99 a month for like pretty much so much manga. Definitely worth it. The reason I'm hesitant is because I don't read. I'm not crazy about reading stuff digitally, but I don't know if it turns out like this. I am me just plugging myself. I am doing a weekly series for Fabricant 100, which is how this whole thing started. But I don't know. Maybe I should, and maybe you should too, because hey, there's a lot on here, and one thing I'm a little upset about though. Oh, okay, only the first 3 of the 9 chapters on here are for free. Yeah, I'll probably get this app eventually, anyways. Uh, So, oh yeah, the thing I was saying, what I'm upset about is like, uh, this one gets anime. It's not even that long. I don't know why this one got chosen. Of course, it's still pretty newish. It came out, started in 2019, ended in 2020. 2 years later, it gets anime. But my one of my favorite manga was Siren, and that one still hasn't gotten anime. And it's just a trend in like Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer. That was kind of older one. It also got anime more recently. Maybe this is good sign. Siren will finally get one. I don't know, but I'm a little confused as to why this one got an anime. It's short. Maybe that's why. It could have been film. I feel like it may have been better as like a 2 hour film. Um, no, I say that, but I know it wouldn't have been because then I've been, oh, this was so rushed, and it's like, okay, huh? Man, I'm really just rambling now. This is me going into a little bit of rant mode, but there's something missing. I feel like it's because just seems like it's going to be this one season and that's it. And there's three people. She kind of got a little close to Tsukasa, who had the main story overall. If they did more seasons, it would be more, I guess, trouble with Junta and more trouble with Hijiri, maybe more Rio, and of course maybe more Ruya. But I don't know. I guess this is it. I need to actually see uh, what the what's happening in the manga. But yeah, there's no way these 12 episodes was only the first two volumes. That's just, huh? Yeah, I just wish she would have more time with everyone, and it wasn't just like, oh, and this is it now. It just it went together too smoothly. I guess I don't know really. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was too good. Like everything worked out too well all the time. There wasn't any hesitation like it. And then like there was really only any problem in that when Yukana came in and it turned out to be Tsukasa's stalker, and that wasn't until like the last two episodes was there any actual kind of conflict, unless you count like the cockroach cake bug in the second episode, or did even first episode actually? Yeah, yeah. This one just it started strong and then just went. Also, me bringing that up, this is just random things and me rambling on. Junta's so afraid of the bugs. Me trying to just randomly remember all this stuff. And there's a point another one shows up and Tsukasa has to kill it, and Junta's like, oh, being a baby because he couldn't kill the bug and he's not real man. It's like, uh, I do need to look up to see who actually wrote this because I don't know. It's like a play and like making fun of just like gender stereotypes and all that stuff because I don't know. It's kind of funny. Uh, yeah, romantic killer not renewed for second series season. Blah blah blah. Written by Wataru Momose. I don't know if this person's written anything else, but let me see. Uh, just looking up. Oh, I guess it's a dude. It looks like. Uh, I'm not really finding anything else about whether he. Yeah, I assume it's a he. I'm not. Yeah, Wataru's a male name, right? Mm, sure. Yeah, it's just a play on that and everything. But yeah, it looks like the rest of the manga is supposed to release in English throughout next year, so I guess I'll see what happens. I don't know. I guess I'm disappointed because I did enjoy it. I'm not disappointed that I enjoyed it because I enjoyed what it was. I enjoyed the premise, and I was looking forward to what else they would do. And it's just rushing to fit it into these 12 episodes and not giving each character enough time. Because I'm a big rom com fan, but like each character could have had more time with Anzu, each interest or whatever. And if there was, I just keep repeating this, I guess the next season could explore that more. But unlike quintessential quintuplets, like most rom-com anime, you don't really ever get to see it end where she would pick someone. Maybe she did. Maybe she never does. Maybe they all just stay friends. Who knows? She got what she wanted back: her chocolate video games and Momohiki. Uh, I just realized. I wonder if Momohiki's name is based off of the author's name. Momohiki, and then the author is Otaru Momose. Uh, hmm. Interesting. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. I would recommend it. Hey, if you have 4-ish hours or you're just looking for something to watch on Netflix, I don't watch that much Netflix either. That's the other thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix that I just forgot to keep up with because I just not on Netflix anymore. I mainly watch Crunchyroll nowadays when I have time to watch anything. So I completely missed that this came out. I knew nothing about it, even though it's been a little over a month and a half now. But I think it's worth watching if you're kind of like me and want something in the background. Which seems like something if I wouldn't have done a podcast episode about it, I will watch this in the background while I did other stuff. But if you're one of those, this one's definitely worth it. It's not bad at all. It's just it could have been a lot better. The premise is really cool. Girl completely rejecting romance and getting romance situations thrown at her and being funny about it. But yeah, go ahead, check it out, recommend it. I'm sure there are other stuff I probably need to look on Netflix. Netflix is getting more and more and it's getting good stuff, so I need to keep more tabs on it, better tabs, whatever. But that is it for me talking about Romantic Killer. I got through it a lot quicker because I said there wasn't that much substance to it, but enough to talk about, enough to do anime. I talked about films more than I did this one, if that says anything. But of course, that was me trying to rush. So yeah, but yeah, that's it for Romantic Killer. Watch it if you have any interest in it, or because I feel like I said a lot and I said whatever, but like always, I feel like what I say doesn't matter that much. You can still go and watch it and be like, oh, okay, this is what you're talking about, and then enjoy it from that. Even though I did spoil everything. Oh, I forgot to put spoiler alert. I spoiled everything, but you might still enjoy it. But yeah, so yeah, if you like this, if you're on something that you can like it, like it. If you can follow or subscribe, whatever platform you're listening to this on, also. But yeah, if you want more of me, you can find me on like all those social medias and stuff on the AC Stories. Let me know what kind of romantic drinks you can kill with a little bit of messed up ingredients and high proof grain alcohol. Like I said, I did Sex It on the Beach and Tequila Sunrise, those. But I'm sure there's plenty more. I might look up more later just to see what opportunities I missed. Who knows? Yeah, you can do all that. You can email me at dacstories at gmail or really any at Yahoo. Also, I do a bunch of weird stuff with all that. But you can also join my Discord. I have that. We can talk about anime, games, all kinds of random stuff. I set up a weird thing of a Discord and I have a small community, so you can come and be part of that. Help get it more active. I suck at Discord and being active in social media in general, but I'm trying better. But yeah, all that stuff, the links to all those should be in link. I have a link tree. They should be in link tree, and then they'll be in the description. But they're still all separate for now. Separate links on the description for wherever you want. So it's easy to find me. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Alcohol Anime. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, I'm DAC. Bye.